It is said that luck is the intersection of preparation and opportunity. Welcome to Australian Hunting Backcountry, a platform where we will focus on all things around hunting in the backcountry. My name is Tobias, and I want you to join me as we hear lived experiences, explore gear, tips, techniques, and discuss the unique places that backcountry hunting can take you. I appreciate you coming along with me as I try to increase the knowledge to help us so that we might have better luck in the backcountry. Welcome to this episode of Australian Hunting Backcountry, and for this conversation I'm joined by Tyler, who is all the way over in Austin, Texas. Tyler, welcome. Thanks for making the time to come on the show, mate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Austin, Texas is my second home. Alaska will always be my first.
Yeah. So, Tyler, now, one of the reasons I reached out to you, I heard you on another podcast with Dan Becker, and I loved it. I couldn't stop. Normally, I try to listen to podcasts in sort of segments. You know, I'll listen to them while I'm cooking dinner and so forth, and then come back to it another time and so forth. But with yours, I had to listen to it all the way through because it just captured me. Now, we've had a couple of conversations, and obviously in Australia we don't have large land-based predators like you guys do over there. So, but having hunted in America and seen the reaction of the guides when we saw bear tracks in the snow, it's always held an interest for me. So, but before we get into that side of the story, mate, just introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm from Alaska originally, born and raised. I just moved to Austin here. It was about a year and a half ago, just chasing the sun a little bit in Alaska. It's not so much all the time. So yeah, born and raised in Alaska. Kind of born into wildlife conservation, hunting, fishing. My father, he's head of law enforcement for Fish and Wildlife there for 34 years. So my whole childhood, adult life, I just followed my father around when he went around the Kenai River, the mountains, and just became second nature to me just to be out there. Also went hunting quite a bit, black bear hunting, sheep hunting, moose hunting. Yeah, honestly, I just found myself. I mean, I was on the playground of Alaska. I don't know if you know where the Kenai Peninsula is.
I've heard
and
of
if
it.
anyone doesn't know where it's at, yeah, it's kind of like you look at the map and you see Juneau down by Canada, and then the Aleutian Islands kind of going towards Russia. In between those two spaces, there's little dingleberry that hangs in between there, and that's called the Kenai Peninsula.
Right.
That's where. I mean, the Kenai River goes through where all the sockeye fishing is all happening. There's glaciers everywhere. The Turnagain Arm. It's beautiful. It's south of Anchorage.
Okay.
Away from the city.
Yep.
If you ever go to Alaska, just get out of Anchorage and go south to the Kenai. That's my advice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just grew up in Alaska. Mountain guy. Can't take it out of me. So.
Yeah. Fair enough, mate. Going to Alaska is one of my dreams, and a Dall sheep hunt is my ultimate dream hunt. So hopefully can work towards it. Every time I start saving towards it, something else comes up, and my savings get depleted, and then the cost of a guided hunt keeps going up.
Yeah, those aren't. I mean, I just realize how expensive that shit is because I'm in Austin now. I'm not a Alaska resident anymore. I get made fun of from my friends. Now I'm going up there like, yeah, no, fishing license is $10 for me for a whole year. How much is it for you? I'm like, it's a bit more, or even a guided hunt, a Dall hunt. You know what? I don't even want to guess how much that is. Is it like $5,000 plus just for the guide?
That's
a lot.
Yeah, for me, you multiply that by at least 10.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, coming from Australia, that would be a little bit different, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I do sheep hunt a lot up there, but I didn't have to pay for a guide. I can be my own guide up there. I just go out in the woods.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mountains. It's not an easy hunt, to
No.
say the least.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So your dad as well. You said he's a fish and wildlife officer, or was.
Yeah. I mean, yes, and right now he's 60 years old. Well, he might be 61. I don't know. He's old. He's old man, but he doesn't stop. He doesn't quit. So at 57, he had a mandatory retirement from the Fish and Wildlife. It's a federal thing.
Mm.
Doesn't matter how fit he is and how eager he is. They made him retire, and so the state of Alaska, the troopers, Alaska State Troopers, were like, "Hey, come join us." So he ended up joining Alaska State Troopers, going through that whole training and everything. Like, he got like 19, 20-year olds he's doing this training with, and
Mm.
he's whooping their ass, obviously.
Mm.
And yeah, the dude doesn't stop. He's like the freaking Terminator. So he was doing that up until last year, and now he works state parks just on the Kenai Peninsula. He doesn't stop. I mean,
Yeah.
why would you with a job like that, right?
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
literally get paid to have fun.
Yeah.
Kind of a dream job.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. All right. I wanted to mention your dad because I know I wanted to introduce your dad into this because I know that he features in the story as well.
Mm,
So I just want to set a bit of a background there for people.
he sure does.
Yeah. So the event that we're talking about is there's no other way to describe it, but it's a bear attack, and I know that you've kind of accepted some of the blame as well for it. Um, but I think it's very interesting for anybody that's thinking of heading not just to Alaska but even to America, because obviously there's grizzlies and black bears present all throughout a number of states in America. So there's always potential for interaction with them and a risk that we as Australians we just don't understand. We spoke about the drop bears that we have over here and how dangerous they are. I'm yet to
Yeah.
actually see one myself, but yeah, all of our big predators are in the water. So if you want to die, go swimming off the coastline or in a semi saltwater creek in Australia, and I'm sure you'll encounter something. But so when did this occur? What sort of time frame are we talking about?
August 20, no, August 17th, 2024,
Okay.
at 2:34 in the afternoon.
Okay. All right.
I know this because I was taking pictures right before it was happening.
Yeah.
We were just kind of hiking through that area, and I took a picture maybe like 4 or 5 minutes before the event happened, and that's how I'm kind of able to pinpoint the exact time.
Yeah.
I wasn't just looking up the sun and doing the whole finger thing. It's like,
Yeah.
it's about 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
No, I had
my
I had a cell
shadow's
phone.
at 15.7 degrees, so it must be.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
not
right.
quite.
Well, yeah, I guess, mate, start at the start and tell us the story.
All right. Well, let's see. So it was August in Alaska, as I said before, and that's pretty much prime hunting season. If you are planning on going to Alaska, the beginning of August through August, I mean, it's the time to go.
Yep.
It's sunny sometimes. I mean, it's just the best time to have the best chance of having good weather, I guess I'd say. And plus, that's when the season opens, so I guess there's that too. Um, we decided to go on this hunt called it's on Resurrection Pass. I've never done this pass before. We typically go way back in the glaciers across this lake called Tustamina, where I mean, the only people who really go out there are the ones in the 1940s and 50s, the trappers. Not a lot of people go back there anymore because no one knows where to go. Anyways, I digress. So this trail, like I said, it's called Resurrection, and this brings you after about 14 miles to Devil's Pass. Excuse me, I got that backwards. Devil's Pass brings you to Resurrection Pass.
Right.
Anyways, we're way the hell back there. We hiked the first day about 16 miles, 16 and a half miles ish, give or take, to our camping ground, where we decided to go camping and just stake out. The trails are nice where we're at. It's actually, you can bike on it until you get to where we went off trail to bushwhack back into where we thought we would find some bears in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So that was day one. Hoofed it, kicked our ass the whole time. It was great, beautiful day. The second day, we kind of scouted out, realized that there's a couple creeks. I mean, we knew this before we had maps. Before when we had maps, so we realized that there's a couple creeks that and kind of converge in this area, and you're on top of another mountain. I mean, when you're up here, it's just mountains all around you. So you can get to the top of one and look around, and you can see all this green area where all these creeks get together. And you're like, I mean, if you're hunting, you're like, okay, there's probably animals down that area.
Mm-hmm.
So we scouted out for a while, and we didn't see anything that whole second day except for someone on a bike, maybe going by on that trail about a mile and a half, two away. And that third day is when we decided we were looking at this map and we weren't seeing anything. I mean, when we go hunting, we're going for black bears, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that.
Yep.
We were going for black bear. And at that time, those black bears are typically eating berries off the side of a mountain. The blueberries are
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal.
Mm.
So, anyways, yeah, the black bears are typically eating blueberries on the side of the mountains there. The blueberries there are absolutely just they're delicious. You wouldn't want to go have blueberries from the store afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to look at the map, and we saw that this creek goes way back in the mountains. And my dad, like I said, he's been in law enforcement, fish and wildlife for years, and he has prior knowledge that there's a cabin way back there. You know,
Yep.
we didn't see any animals, so we just said, "Screw it, let's just go for an adventure." That's how my father and I are, and see if we can't find a trail that leads back there, because he was told that there was a potentially trail that you can go all the way back there and find this cabin that this dude made in the 1920s. I mean, who wouldn't want to go find that, right?
I am always looking for gear that performs multiple functions, and that's why I'm now carrying the Walk and Stalk Game Bar Carbon Plus. Designed for you to carry less, do more, hunt smarter, Carbon Plus Bar is an ultralight monopod system built to handle every moment of the hunt, whether you're day hunting, chasing meat, or on a backcountry hunt. The Carbon Plus Bar is just at home with me as a trekking pole in steep country or supporting me as I'm feeling my way across a creek. The Carbon Plus Bar also helps me recover game as a solid drag bar and then becomes a prop pole or a makeshift gambrel to hang and field process the game. With the range of included accessories, I also have options such as being able to glass steady from any height, including standing, which I really like, taking a supported shot in seconds, and even capturing content. The Carbon Plus Bar packs down to just 50 centimeters and weighs just over 1 kilo, so it's certainly easy enough to carry in your pack. One of these will be with me on all my future hunts, and because I'm keen to support a small Australian business and my audience, I've secured a 15% discount for you all on the package bundle when you use the code AHB15 at walkandstalkstore.com or follow the link in the show notes.
And so we actually found the trail that day, or on the beginning of the third day, around 11 o'clock. And we started hiking, and there was flagging that we were following. It was a really bad trail. I mean, like the only thing that was maintaining that trail was animals.
Yep.
Because they take the path of least resistance also.
Yep.
So we were following these flags. These flags were probably red when they were first put in, but at this time now they're pink and weathered and torn and blend in with all the foliage. And there's some leaves that are turning yellow and they're same color as the of the flagging. So we're losing it, and then we ended up doing that whole leapfrog. Like you lose the way, so that person behind you is now ahead of you finding that trail, and you just keep on doing that for hours. So needless to say, the trail sucked. I mean, the weather was great.
Yep.
The trail sucked. So even if we were at the beginning of the day, like, yeah, we're going to go for a black bear, when we got halfway through that day, we'd even say it to each other, just like, yeah, no, we're not going to hike an animal back out of this. Because you shoot it, you got to bring it back. And it would not be fun
Yep.
through that stuff. Um, so it was about midday. We didn't really have lunch. And we are side hilling between two mountains, and it opens up to this big old valley. It's probably a mile wide valley, like mile wide and mile long. And we were looking at the map, and that valley then closes back up and then loops around to the right because we're just facing forward. If you can just imagine this big valley opening up, and it just looks like short grass in front of you, easy hiking from the looks of it. And then a mile away, it just goes around the corner. Like, you know what? I bet you that mountain after around there, it's just going to open up. It's going to be gorgeous. So we started down the hill a little bit, going into this valley. And needless to say, it was not freshly cut golf course grass.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how it is when you get close to, you're far away, like that looks easy. And then you get into it and you're like, shit, this is over my head.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the easiest hiking to say the least. And we're still trying to find these flags. It's boggy. These little pecker poles are pulling at your knees and trying to trip you up. And we see a dead tree about 400 yards away from us, and we beeline it to that dead tree, and we kind of get our bearings back and realize that damn near in the middle of this valley, there is this stretch of green shrubbery that's probably about 8 feet tall, almost like a wall. We suspect that there's a creek there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we head straight to that wall and start going perpendicular to it or parallel with it to go through it. And my father's in front of me. We find a flagon. My father goes through that tunnel because it's kind of, it felt like a tunnel at the time. Um, and he goes through it, and I follow behind him about 15 yards ish. And we were kind of talking at this time. I mean, it was very, wasn't like, hey, how was your day? What do everyone have for lunch? Like, tell me your favorite story. It was just, like, do you see the flag? No. Do you see the flag? No. Boy, this bug is in my ear. It's annoying. It was just very small talk,
Yep.
very, very small talk. So we weren't making a lot of noise. My dad goes through that, and when he exits out, he goes up a little hill, and then the grass is just about waist high, and this golden grass. I don't know. I always describe it as if you watch Gladiator, how he's walking through the grass and kind of like touching the top of the
Yep.
wheat field.
Yep.
That's kind of what plays in my head a little bit. So it's that type of grass.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm falling behind my dad about 15 yards, and he gets to the top of this hill. I just exit out of this kind of wall of thick. I mean, it's thick. You couldn't walk through it unless, I mean, you could. It would suck, but it was thick brush, and I just got out of it, out of this little tunnel. And right when I got to the other side of that, I take about 2 or 3 steps going up this little hill, and my father, he yells bear. So when he yells bear, I did not think grizzly, brown bear. I wasn't thinking that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I mean, like, oh, man, I think I actually looked up towards the side of the mountain, honestly, for a split second. That split second, I thought that, but in that same breath, that's when you heard it.
Mm-hmm.
You heard that like deep. It wasn't even a growl, man. It was something. It was something I never heard before, and it instant reaction. I mean, it was all in the same breath. You heard that growl. My dad said bear. You hear twigs snapping. You hear the thuds on the ground. And I can see this animal, this beast start cresting the top of the grass. So grizzly bears and brown bears, they have a distinct hump on the back.
Yep.
Big old brown hump. That's a different, I mean, besides, they're not black, that's a very distinct feature of the animal.
Mm.
And you can see it just flying across this grass. and it gets about 5 feet from my father, and it opens up right there. And that bear pivots from that point. My dad's screaming, "Hey, hey, 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 bear!" And that he starts turning his back towards the bear because he has his backpack on.
Mm-hmm.
What you're supposed to do, and if you're going to get, you know, mauled by a bear, you flip around, and hopefully that bear will just go right
Mm.
onto your back
Yep.
or your backpack and start ripping around your backpack and not your head, or the back of your neck or anything like that. So he starts turning, but he's also putting his hand on his chest because he has his Glock on his chest. He has
Mm-hmm.
a chest holster. I had a side holster. I was attached to my backpack on the hip strap, and in those seconds when that bear is just barreling towards my father, I am still trying to register what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm sure everyone that's hunted in Alaska or anywhere there's bears or there's some type of animal that could potentially rip your face off, you mentally go through those steps in your head. Like, what would you do? Like, oh man, I would unholster my pistol and blow it away in
Yeah.
split second.
Yeah.
I would punch it in the nose. I'd do this. You have all those things
Yeah.
going through your head, but you know what? Guess what? When that shit happens to you, that goes right out the window, man.
Mm.
I was like, I think I forgot how to breathe. I, I,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just all of a sudden everything froze and got real slow. And when that bear turned towards me, it was like, again, this I don't know if everyone in Australia watched the Marvel movies or anything like that, but this is the best way I can describe it. In the beginning of the Marvel movies, it looks like they're flipping through pages.
Yep.
Like it's just flip, 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 flip. The next second and a half, I have frames of this bear turning towards me, her head down, boom, that's a frame. She's coming closer. It's like that move or that game where you turn the lights off and you turn it on. It's all
Yep.
of a sudden like closer to you, right?
Yep.
Um, and she has her head down. She's right in front of me, and I go and try to pull my pistol. I have a 10 millimeter out of my holster, and I had a holster that had a strap that goes over the back of it, and you got
Mm.
to push it down, push it forward, and pull unholster it. It's
Mm.
it's a law enforcement pistol
Yep.
holster, so someone doesn't just rip it out. Well, I was trying to rip it out, and I
Mm.
failed.
Mm.
So she got to me, and I stepped my right foot back, turning my left shoulder towards her because my pistol was on my right side. And when she lunged forward, she slapped me down. And as she's bouldering me over, like, I mean, it's just, boom. She's bouldering me over. When she hits me, she hits my backpack. That I have an external frame backpack, little Cabela's. I don't know how many liters it is, but I've had this for a while. And that external frame probably saved my face from getting ripped off.
Yep.
She hit that side of that and just came over my shoulder because I had it so tight to my chest that when she hit the backpack, it turned my whole body.
Mm.
So she knocked me backwards. This bear is now on top of me as I'm coming back downwards down the hill, and I pull my pistol out as I'm getting knocked over, and instinctually, I try kicking her at the same time, trying to push her away with my left leg, and at that very second, trying to shoot her at the same time. So I ended up blasting a hole right through the top of my leg.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel a damn thing, honestly. It just felt like someone gave me a dead leg for a moment. I didn't even register I shot myself. And when I hit the ground, my other leg getting in front of her, she bit down on my calf, and then I guess she tried to pull me closer or something, but she put a claw right through the side of my hip, ripping my pants. And as I was on my back, there's another frame of her on top of me, and I see a collar. And I don't know how I had the I remember having the sentence go through my head. Oh, she has a collar. She's collared a bear. She's a collared bear
Mm.
in my head while this bear's on top of me.
Mm.
It's just a very vivid visual. And why I thought that, I don't know. But yeah, you couldn't see that she had a collar because her fur was so thick, but
Mm.
I could because she
Mm.
was literally on top of me. And I just started pulling the trigger as fast as I can while shooting upwards. And I released 6 rounds into her chest, neck area as I was on my back. One of those rounds somehow, I don't know if it's for percussion or what, but it probably broke her back, probably snapped her spine.
Hmm.
I didn't shoot her through the dome or nothing like that, but if you ever shoot a big game animal, especially bears, they have adrenaline that is unmatched by most animals. They
Mm.
just don't stop. For instance, I shot a black bear, probably a 200-pound black bear with a 30-06. I thought I missed. No, no, I shot right through his shoulder, blew the lungs off the side of this animal, and it ran damn near a quarter mile
Mm.
without lungs before it bedded down. So imagine having a 10 millimeter,
Yeah.
right? It's a hey, it works. Trust me. Case in point here,
Hmm.
it works. But if I didn't hit her in the right spot, you probably could have unleashed 50 rounds and she would have picked me up. It wouldn't matter. I would have
Hmm.
got picked up, ripped around, thrown about, but she died, or she might not died at that moment, but she fell off of me.
Hmm.
She just onto the side. And this was all shit from the side, or from the time my father said bear. And that bear was now next to me was probably about 10, 12 seconds. It just happened that fast. 1 second you're thinking about top ramen and lunch.
Hmm.
The next second you have a bear next to you and your dad's running up with his Glock and just unloading his whole magazine into his head right next to you.
Hmm.
You know, things can happen real quick. And yeah, that's kind of like what happened. She just flew at me. Bear's now dead next to me with multiple bullet holes in her head. And now you have to go through the fact that you're like, well, now what? Well,
Hmm.
you gotta go through triage. And that's when I looked down at my leg and I was like, oh shit. I shot myself. And my dad's reaction, yeah, he was like, oh god damn it, like, oh, here we go. Um, but my father and I, we're not newbies out in the bush, in the backcountry. We are experienced and we come prepared wherever we go. We have InReach, which is a Texas satellite system. So
Hmm.
if you don't have any cell phone service, which you do not out there, thank God, and dang it, at the same time,
Yep.
but that's why you have it. So you can still be connected with emergency services. And we also carry a trauma kit,
Hmm.
which this is not the first time we had to use a trauma kit, actually. But this one was the first time we had to use the quick clot. We had to use the tourniquet out of it. Um, I had to use the shears to cut my pant leg off. So when I told my dad I shot I said I think I shot myself is what I told him.
Yep.
Because I'm still going through like shock, right? And stop me at any point. By the way, I'll just ramble through this whole thing if you guys don't care. I mean, you can stop me at any time. Um, so yeah, I look down my pant leg. I think I shot myself. Like, okay, so I take my backpack off. We go into straight triage. I disassociate myself with my body. I instantly just cut myself off. Just this isn't me. Well, I start doing work, and rip the pant leg up. I was like, oh, there's a bolt hole, so let's get the quick clot out.
Hmm.
And good thing. I mean, we looked down and we actually saw the exit wound. And if you watch the video, it doesn't look like it's bleeding that much, because it was a damn near point blank 10 millimeter round blasting right through your quad. And it could have been a blaster from Star Wars. I mean, it probably just cauterized it all the way through.
Yep.
Um, so we put the click clot on there regardless. It was just a reaction. It was just going through the motions. And it's when my father looked down at my right leg and he said, your boot is filling up with blood. I was like, well, that's not good either.
Hmm.
Shit. So I looked down and I had Army surplus camo pants. I think I don't know what type of material they are, but they're really nice. I mean, they dry real quick, but you get the picture what they are.
Yep.
They're that old Vietnam looking camo pants. And they were brown because of the blood. They weren't green anymore. They were brown and they were shredded. So we take the shears. I cut it up just above my knee, and realize I'm trying to wipe away the blood from my calf, and I just can't get a good look at what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we immediately grab that tourniquet. My father starts applying the tourniquet to my leg, and he looks at me and he says, "Is that tight enough?" I said, "Yeah, that's good." Well, if you ever did any type of trauma training or EMT, you know when you ask that, they're going to do another good old turn on that tourniquet.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it is good and tight.
Mm.
And yeah, he did that. It actually made me do a little yelp. I was like, "Oh shit! Oh, that's real tight." Like, yeah, no, you got it. You got it good. So yeah, he applied that tourniquet above the wound, stop the bleeding. Uh, Hurt like hell. Uh, but the adrenaline was there for a while, about 45 minutes, and then you can see in the videos. I stopped making the videos.
Mm.
That's when the adrenaline started going, pew,
Yep.
drop off. So I didn't even realize that she gashed me in my hip there until about 45 minutes. I thought I did the whole, wipe yourself down and go through the motions, where's the blood, blood, blood. It wasn't until I went to go grab a can of chew. It's the stuff called Tiza, it's like just tea, non-nicotine, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
blah. I went to go grab it and I pull it out of my pant pocket that was shredded. It's like, oh, damn. I'm surprised it's still in the pocket. And I went to go grab it, and I almost like a cartoon. It all just dumps out the top of it because there's a claw mark going right through the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, shoot. It took me a second. Huh. There's a claw mark going through my can of chew on my pant leg, and I go ahead. I'm like, what the hell? And I put my hand in my pocket, and it goes through my pocket into my leg,
Mm-hmm.
and my hand falls into this gash. I'm like, oh, that's not good. So my dad is about 20 yards away from me. He's making a perimeter, yelling, "Hey, bear," because we don't know if there's any animals around still. Maybe that was a mom with adolescent cubs that are just going to take revenge on our ass. We don't know.
Mm.
Or there might be a boar nearby. So he was making a perimeter. And I was like, I got a gash on my leg. So he takes his bandana, his sweaty ass bandana, chucks it over to me, and I just stuff it in, try to make it so it'd stop bleeding.
Yep.
And that's when he starts going through. I mean, well, before that, we already called RCC, which is a rescue crew out of J Bear, Alaska, which is a military base there. So they got Blackhawks, they got PJs, they got the whole works coming towards us. Also got in contact with the troopers. So there is a benefit to having a father that was Fish and Wildlife, SWAT, survival training. I went through all that with him, but not SWAT. He does this for a living,
Yep.
right? He does search and rescues. Well, he just so happened to have his son, the one he's going to rescue this time. So
Mm.
he was going through all his steps, getting a hold of the right people, sending the right information. My son was attacked by a bear, bit, shot, controlled bleeding, stable, perimeter made, LZ nearby, and then the coordinates. Just boom, 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 done. And he would just send that over and over again. So it was pretty cool watching that,
Mm-hmm.
watching the master at work and getting my ass out there. It took about 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes to have the helicopter spin up and come get me. And they sent two helicopters,
Mm-hmm.
just in case the other one had to turn around and do something else. And that's kind of the down and dirty of the story. There was a helicopter that did go by us about 30 minutes in, but I'm pretty sure they were just sightseeing. So that
Yep.
was kind of like, damn it, like
Yeah.
come back, like the whole Titanic thing, like come back.
That would have been an
So,
emotional roller coaster.
oh yeah, that sucked. It was a long 2 hours, man. I even did myself dirty too. My dad, he I asked him, I was like, so how long? Because he had the power in his hand. He knew how long it was going to take him to get there,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't want to tell me it was going to take that long. So he said a half hour. I think we were about an hour in at that time. He said a half hour. I was like, okay, cool. So I grabbed my phone and I put 30 minutes on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
That that was not fun to watch. It was ticking down second by second, so slow.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we got to 30 minutes and they weren't there, I was like, what's going on? But yeah, it was a beautiful day too. I mean, it was 65. The sun was out. It was a beautiful helicopter ride, painful helicopter ride, but beautiful.
Yep.
Going over the mountains, going over the Tourniquet Arm. Um, yeah, getting drug out of there was good. It was
Mm.
good. It was good getting out of there.
So
Left
when
my
the
dad behind for a little bit.
yeah, so
That was it.
when the
Yep.
helicopter arrived, they obviously couldn't land right where you were. How far did they have to ferry you out? And was it on a stretcher, or did they make you walk, or did they just drag you across the snow?
Oh, so there wasn't snow up there where we're at. We weren't, so where we weren't at the ice caps. That typically where we go hunting, there is a lot of snow.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, we weren't as high elevation as that. I mean, it was maybe like 3,600 feet elevation or 4,000. But yeah, the LZ, I mean, like I said, we were in a pretty open area. So they just landed on the other side of the brush,
Mm.
pretty much, maybe 30, 40 yards away. And the trooper that came and got me, Joe, the guy was freaking jacked. Thank God, dragging my fat ass out of there. So he grabbed me by the shoulders and just yarded me. I mean, my drag grabbed my legs trying to stabilize it, but it's like as much as you can with brush grabbing at your knees and your ankles, and you're trying to fumble with this dead weight. I wasn't trying to be dead weight, but yeah, I had a bullet hole in one leg, I had a bear bite on the other, and then I had a gash on the hip. So my legs weren't working as well as they usually do,
Mm.
and yeah, they yarded me out, just dragged me, and when I got to the helicopter, they dropped me right there next to the door, and the props are going above me. I remember looking at the pilot, and the pilot looks down at me, and he gives me a thumbs up. I remember looking back at him like, yeah, for sure. Just get me the fuck out of here.
Mm.
you know? And I can hear my father and Joe talking, saying, hey, RCC is going to come here and they're going to be here in about 15 minutes. And I heard that. And I looked up at him, and then I looked at the skid of the helicopter and the door, and I started pulling myself up. So I started getting myself in the helicopter, and I can hear Joe saying, oh, looks like he made his decision. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I don't want to be here any longer, man. But yeah, so I went into that helicopter, and Joe got me to the hospital, and they had an army waiting for me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they got me on a stretcher and pulled me in, and there's probably it felt like 15, 20 people in lab jackets waiting for me to, because they didn't know. They knew that there was a bullet, there was a gun victim,
Yep.
and a bear mauled victim. So they're like thinking Freddy Krueger or some dude's going to come across with a jaw hanging off, or you know,
Mm.
um, they got me, just bullet holes and bear bites. And I can't remember what a joke I said when I came in, but the look on their face when I was cracking jokes with them, I think they got kind of relieved that I was okay.
Yep.
I just wanted that damn tourniquet off. Those are not fun.
Yeah.
Save
Yep.
lives though.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what was the sum total of your injuries then?
Well, the bullet hole on my left quad, that was a through and through. It pretty much just it didn't it just kind of cut through a little bit of my muscle,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a little deformed there, but not bad.
Mm.
And then where she bit me on my calf, she squashed a bit of my muscle, and she was, I mean, millimeters away from fracturing my shin. Just the hole where her tooth goes in, her teeth was just right next to my shin bone.
Right.
I mean, where she bit down for that split second when I started pulling the trigger, when she bit down, that I was pulling the trigger already into her chest.
Mm.
And she squashed down in just that split second. Just my calf, it's a bit squashed. Uh, my foot kind of hangs to the side when it's just relaxing. But man, I go on runs damn near every day. I did a Spartan race
Mm.
five five and a half months later. The doctors they didn't want me walking around. They said stop moving. You know, I think that's probably my person. I'm not a doctor, but I'm also stubborn as hell, and I think walking around actually helped me a lot. It got that blood moving.
Yeah.
As for the shoulder, I have sisters and they've done more damage than that bear did on my shoulder because of that backpack. Took most of the hit. And then the gash on the hip that healed up. It's just a big old purple scar going down right next to my butt.
Mm.
So that really didn't pull any meat out. Just really just gashed a whole bunch of fat and took some skin with it. So needless to say, when you're talking to a bear victim, you know, I when I'm saying, "Hey, I got mauled by a bear," people are looking at my face and they're like, "Oh, you don't look too bad." I'm
Hmm.
like, well,
I was born this
yeah, you
way.
should look at the other guy. Yeah, I looked out, man. I really did.
Mm.
The gun itself, I mean, easily. It yeah, man. That the shooting yourself in the leg is not good to say the least.
Mm.
Any different type of direction, angle, um, yeah, I could have capped myself just as easily, shot through my femur. I mean, you got your femoral artery right there, all my ligaments. No, I just kind of severed the top of my quad, which I consider myself pretty lucky with that. And then, you know, being able to unholster my pistol and shoot her when she bit into my leg, for her to let go that quickly. I mean, and very easily could just rip my whole calf off,
Yep.
you know. So it's just, I think it's luck. I had a bit of luck on my side that day. And I, you know, maybe there's a purpose to everything. I like to think that there has to be a positive to any type of these interactions. That's a different thing, but
Mm.
yeah, I just something was watching, someone was watching over me. I'm not sure, man. It's almost odd, you know, how close. Yeah, like getting shot and chewed on by a bear and being able to walk 5 months later is
Mm.
not a lot of people can say that.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I consider myself quite lucky,
Mm.
to say the very least.
Yep. For 2026, I am proud to again be teaming up with Nature's Perks to bring you more content and be part of some of the amazing giveaways that come with one of their memberships. If you sign up on one of the tiers, you will go into regular draws for gear prizes, awesome hunts, and even fishing trips. This year, some of the giveaway hunts include a buffalo hunt in the Northern Territory and a tahr hunt in New Zealand. Nature's Perks also runs courses to help get you started into hunting and processing your own meat. These cover everything from rifle setup and basic shooting to a live butchering demonstration and meat care so you can get the most out of what you hunt. And alongside these, I am delivering a backpack hunting fundamentals course to give you the knowledge you need to get started in backcountry hunting. Check out the Nature's Perks YouTube channel for some of the hunts and cooking we've already done, and subscribe so you can see what other shenanigans we get up to. Find out more at naturesperks.com.au or message Lawson on Facebook or Instagram. Here you are. I mean, that's intense, that whole scenario, but here you are laying there bleeding, patching yourself up and so forth with the dead bear right next to you, basically.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. She, I could reach out and pet her on the head if I wanted to for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, one of the parts I do, one of the moments I think about quite often, it's about an hour and 45 minutes into it, maybe an hour and a half. I know time is a little bit weird. I was really trying to find a position where I could be somewhat comfortable, and I found myself and I flipped on my stomach. That way I wasn't laying on my side and putting
Mm.
too much pressure on my legs. And when I flipped on my stomach, I actually put me damn near nose to nose with this bear.
Mm.
And I'm looking at this bear. There's black flies kind of going around us and stuff, but I just, it's just this weird moment, you know, um, just looking at this bear and it's like, God, I thinking how beautiful the bear was honestly went through my head, um, and how massive her head was. It's
Hmm.
like, God damn, that's a beast right there, and just like yeah, coming to terms of what happened really for a bit there. But yeah, she was right in front of my face there for a while. Yeah, so I was right there next to the bear.
Mm. And how was your dad? You've sort of said he was just basically went into you know law enforcement mode, setting up perimeter, patrolling, making sure you were still alive and so forth. How was he afterwards? After all of that after his adrenaline settled and so forth.
I didn't get to see it. He was in father protector law enforcement mode from the moment that bear was lying dead next to me,
Mm.
from the moment the bear bust through the bushes until I got in the helicopter and left.
Yep.
Um,
So dad
so,
dad
but
didn't
next time
go.
I saw him was no, there's no room on the helicopter.
Right.
He got picked up by a Black Hawk. Lucky bastard. I wanted to go on one of those.
Hmm.
They were supposed to come first. But yeah, so the PJs came and picked him up. They came in, 15 minutes after,
Hmm.
and they all from his side of the story. He told me they all jumped out, looking around like, "What the hell?" They weren't told that I got picked up apparently.
Mm.
And then my dad's like, you can see him on the radio, like, "Oh, let's load up." And my dad went over. He's like, "Hey, can I catch a ride?" And they're like, "Well, let me see." So yeah, they gave him permission to jump on the Black Hawk and get dropped off at Providence Hospital, but not until um, yeah, I guess one of them went over to the bear, and I wasn't even thinking about this at the time.
Mm.
Went over to the bear and cut off one of the claws and gave it to me when I was at the hospital.
Nice.
So that's
Yep.
have that around my neck.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
so one of the PJs ripped her off for me. That
Yep.
was pretty cool.
Mm.
Good little memento. But yeah, he got picked up by the Black Hawk.
Yep.
I didn't.
Yeah. I'm a father. I hunt with my son. He's 16 years old at the moment. So I can only imagine. I can relate to what your dad must have been going through, not only as the background that he had, but then having to deal with this as his son. It'd be a very different scenario if it was somebody else who wasn't related to you, but having to deal with that as seeing that happen to your own son. I can't imagine how he would have been feeling during that and afterwards, and the anxiety levels he must have gone through.
Mm. To be completely honest, I don't think he has allowed himself to really go through that yet.
Mm.
Um, we kind of my father and I have somewhat of that in common. I haven't really, I mean, I can talk about the attack and everything that happened, and I don't know what it is, but we kind of compartmentalize it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just push it away, a little bit. It happened. We take it as a lesson. But the whole, the emotional side to it, there are parts that I do think about, that kind of but yeah, I really don't think my father is really into terms with that. Maybe. I don't
Mm.
know. Something we haven't really talked about. We
Mm.
we talk about like, yeah, that was, we kind of got again, we got kind of thrusted into the limelight real fast too,
Mm-hmm.
with what happened. I mean, from the moment we got back, we didn't have time to decompress really. I mean, I was bleeding from my leg through bandages, and then I got a call from Fox, from CNN, from Inside Edition, all these other places, and because they saw my video and we got put on TV, and I don't think we really got to sit with it yet. I mean, we haven't had the chance to go out and hike or hunt with each other again since that. So we didn't go hiking or hunting last year.
Okay.
And I think that's where my father and I, we could potentially get away and that's just be ourselves. And that's when we would talk about it. I think that's still to come. Obviously, I think we're all surface area right now.
Mm.
Uh, so his emotions to the whole thing, I know that it was whoa. But I know my father. He's he's like that stoic guy that holds it all in. Just, it happened,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, yeah, shit happens, right? I have the same kind of mentality. But yeah, I don't think we've dived into that area quite yet,
Mm. Mm. Have
to say the least.
you, and feel free to not answer if I'm getting too close to the bone here, so to speak, but have you done anything about addressing the trauma and emotion around it?
Mm.
Have you been to counselling or something like that?
I would say yes and no. I haven't gone to therapy. I tried doing hypnotherapy, not to forget, but to remember more.
Mm.
Because again, I want to remember everything. It happened so fast. I just want to remember more. So whatever happened to me, I can relay to somebody else and then use that information to potentially save someone to
Yep.
to do better, do something better than I did,
Yep.
or like that's how they react. They have their head down. So I'm learning more and more about these animals.
Mm.
When it comes to the emotional side, you know, everyone's asked me like, are you afraid to go out hunting again? You got PTSD over this. The only thing that I had an issue with is I was using my firearm to save my life. I was using the firearm to shoot at the bear.
Mm.
Where was my dad? Did I think of that? No.
Mm. Mm. Yep. That.
So I was pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
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 That goes through my head a lot.
Yeah. I did actually have
Um,
that thought when you were telling that story about, yeah. Because I remember on that
mhm.
the podcast I listened to, you spoke about your dad and him moving around into the position where he could then
Yeah.
safely fire. So obviously he had that perspective, but I guess for you it was really that life saving kind of, the blinkers came on and that's all you were concerned about, and you're only capable of seeing
Mhm.
this thing 5 inches in front of your face.
Yeah, I couldn't see past my nose.
Mm.
The only thing I was thinking was I had a bear on top of me, and that woke me up a few times. I've said this maybe a few times to people. Is that yeah? For the first couple nights, I would wake up thinking I shot my dad.
Mm. Mm.
That's stuck with me.
Mm.
That definitely stuck with me. Um, yeah, I do some, I guess we call them ceremonies here every so often. Plant medicine, try to mentally go through things, and I would sit in the corner, try to meditate on a little bit and come to terms, think about it. So I've done my part on at least trying to address some of it in the best way I can. I've
Mm.
never done therapy. It's just I don't know what it is. I don't want to go talk to somebody about it, but I hear it's a good thing. I just haven't tried it. I
Yeah.
usually try to do stuff on my own.
I'll
Yeah.
when we finish, I'll talk to you a little bit about sort of a personal experience and um, give you perspective from my side to something to consider later on. But
So
now you mentioned about the collar, and at one point during the whole experience, you kind of hyper focused on the collar. Was there a significance to this being a collared bear?
no, I think it was just something that I, like you said, hyperfixed on for a moment. But um, honestly, growing up with being fish and wildlife, I see collar bear. That's a dead collar bear. Being with my father, I would see that. I would know that they collar bears. They study these bears. So I made maybe in that split second, collared bear was a past childhood, like seen a bear. I was like, oh, it's collared. I don't know. I don't know why I hyperfixed on it. Maybe I was
Mm.
surprised for a moment. But there wasn't any like, should I shoot this? Set them up. I was like, I'm just pulling the trigger, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it was interesting that it was a collared bear because they were studying that bear for quite some time.
Mm.
Um, so she was, man, I mix it between 17 and 18 years old. It's been about a year since I was told it. I could probably look back, but she was about 17, 18 years old. She's already had cubs in the past. They had go through multiple cubs through their lives. At this time, this is the other thing that sticks with me too. We did not know this at the time. We were told later, and this makes sense as to why the attack happened the way it did.
Mm.
She had three cubs with her.
Okay.
So she had three cubs. They were tracking her. That's her area she's been in for the whole summer. And yeah, she was I guess 18, 17 years old is not old, not super old for a bear, but in human terms, let's say, I mean, it's like 30, upward 30s, maybe 40s.
Okay.
It's midlife bear.
Mm.
It's a bear in prime. Beautiful bear. Just watch the video.
Mm.
You can see when I flip the camera, people think it's fake because I on the Samsung, you click a button and it flips the camera around and it
Mm.
makes it reverse, like you're looking at a mirror. Um, but God, gorgeous bear. I mean, beautiful. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, I
yeah.
lost where I was going with that.
It's all good. I was just curious if the collar was because the bear was a problem bear and had been relocated from somewhere, or it was just part of
No.
what Alaska do and studying tracking
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah. Yeah. She was not an issue bear.
Mm.
She was a good bear. She was a good mother. She was doing her thing.
Mm.
I was doing the same thing, fighting for my life, the same thing I would have done for my cubs.
Mm. Mm.
I got a son myself. He's turning 4 here in a month, and I got twins on the way. Twin identical boys, going to be freaking Tasmanian devils,
You are
man. It's
gonna
gonna be
know
great.
you are gonna know you're alive. Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, I just got two more hunting partners. What's
Mm.
up? All right,
Mm.
cool. Let's go.
Yep.
I literally talked to my other son. He all he says is he wants to go back up to Alaska, up in the mountains. I'm like, yes.
Mm.
Inside me, I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm doing something right here. Cool.
Mm. Now, because
So
of
yeah, I'm
this,
excited.
yeah, yeah, no, that's good. It is. I know when my son was born, we had all the scans done, during the pregnancy, and we were told that he was a girl, and I've already got two girls, and I was like, in all honesty, I was kind of a little bit bummed, and I thought, oh,
Mm.
I would have liked a son, but anyway, that's what it is. And so literally the second he was born, we found out he was a boy. The doctors pulled him out and gone, oh, congratulations, it's not a girl, it's a boy. And yeah, we were like, oh, he's right, got a penis. Now we got to deal with that. We had no names picked out. We had no clothes. We didn't have anything for a boy. We were all prepared for a girl. So, but yeah, it's been super cool, and having a little hunting buddy along the way, and watching him grow as a hunter and develop into a young man and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, you've got all that to look forward to. Now,
Yeah,
with
identical. It's gonna be nuts.
yeah, yeah. So you got the claw, but in terms of because of the incident and the way that it took place, were you able to keep any other parts of the bear or recover any of it?
Oh, no, you're not.
Mm.
I mean, even the claw, you're not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Kick rocks if they're going to try to take my claw away from me. I swear to God, I'll punch him in the nose, man.
Mm.
But yeah, you're not supposed to have anything with because I did not have a harvest tag.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's not just the state of Alaska, but it's just a law for law enforcement for fish and wildlife. Even if an animal attacks you, if you don't have a harvest tag for it, you cannot keep any of the animal.
Yep.
You have to take its skull, its hide, its sex, and I think the paws. But you have to uh, bring that to Fish and Game so they can process it. Um, that's just a lot, and I understand why.
Mm.
It sucks. A lot of people are like that's stupid, but thinking about it like this, if people want to take anything outside of the season, they
Mm.
can just say, "Oh, it attacked me,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's why I took it."
Or put themselves
Or
in a position on purpose to force a charge or
yes,
something like that, and then say, "Oh, it was just self-defense," you know. But
yeah, and also black market is a big one too. If an animal has a story behind it,
yeah,
like, hey, this one, attacked me. It's attacked Tyler Johnson. This is the bear that attacked Tyler.
mm.
Like, I don't know. They can even be sold for more, and there's just it's a snowball effect.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I get it. Um, the skull of the bear because they had to go out and get the collar. We didn't have. I guess that's another perk of having someone in law enforcement because he knows the biologist and say, well, hey, this bear was collared.
Mm.
You guys mind going out there anyways and getting it? So they were able to retrieve all the parts they needed. They ended up grabbing or bringing the skull back as they were supposed to and brought it to Homer, Alaska, which they had these flesh eating. I mean, you know how you do it.
Mm.
You flesh eating worms, and
Mm.
they made it a skull, and it's actually really cool because it has all the bolt holes through it and everything.
Yep.
And my father ended up getting a award for saving my ass out there, and
Mm.
that's the Blue Cross Blue Shield Survival Award, something like that. And some replica TV company that make props contacted my father, asked for the skull, so they made in a replica of the skull, which they make all the skeletons and stuff for hospitals too, I guess. And
Yep.
you can barely tell that it's any different. That's what I brought on Dan Becker's show
Mm.
was that replica, which I have over yonder.
Mm.
Um, look up at it every so often. Like, that's a big ass head.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, those bolt holes have a story behind it.
Mm.
But yeah,
Mm.
so that's yeah, she's still out there probably,
Mm.
most of her. Probably eaten by wolves by now.
Now, when all this was going on, somebody got a message out to your wife as well because you were at that stage you were living in Texas, but
Mhm.
so your wife was in Texas and you were up in Alaska.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my wife. I met her in Alaska. She's not from Alaska. Uh, we bought a house there and she wanted to move. So we moved and I drove her from Alaska to Texas, dropped her off. My one request was it's non-negotiable. I am going back up to Alaska and doing a hunt with my father.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't question it at all. She knew that's how I am. And yep. So yeah, she was in Texas with at the time a 2-year-old kid and two dogs and a new house and only two friends that she knew there because she works for a podcast company and her boss is one of her friends too. So I guess she was having dinner with them when they found out, or she was by herself. I can't remember. Either way, wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
And the only message that went out to her was Tyler got mauled by a bear. Helicopters on the way. I think that was it for about 2 hours.
Yep.
So probably could have did better with communication on that part. Um, to say the least.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
She didn't have a fun 2 hours. She didn't know if I was like, she was going to come with a husband that would have, one arm,
Mm.
maybe one leg, um, from the three. And yeah, so it was she was having a hard time when that doctor came, I s- I was sitting in the hospital bed and I was getting interviewed by two, like a trooper and a fish and game warden trying to get an idea of what was happening. The doctor walked in with a white telephone. He's like, it's your wife. I was like, fuck, okay, here we go. I think I made a joke right away to try to make her feel better,
Mm.
but I don't think it might have helped. But yeah, she went through it, man. Couldn't imagine being in that position. Uh, yeah, that probably sucked. Probably
Mm.
just as bad as what I was going through, honestly. She had no clue what her future looked like.
Yeah.
So
Has she forgiven you yet, or are you still making brownie points?
always making brownie points. You can't stop on that. Um, I am planning on making a expedition in Alaska this year. There's a couple of guys that I want to go up, and that place I was talking about on Testamina,
Hmm.
where damn near no one really knows where to go and how to go. Well, I do, and I'm bringing a group of men up there, try to test out and see if I really want to do this, like do a guide, not just for hunting, but just to bring guys out and be like, hey, you want to see what Alaska's real like? Come with me, I'll show you.
Hmm.
So I'm doing that this year, and we were just talking about it this morning, and she's like, still don't know how comfortable I am going out there because, well, it's going to be in August, and I'm going to have twins that are going to be about 2 months old, 2.5 months old.
Mm.
We'll have help here, but hopefully we don't have a repeat
Yeah.
of 2024.
Yeah.
But yeah, it still goes through her head for sure.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, you did say before that you're trying to sort of remember this so you can, learn from mistakes, analyze that sort of
Hmm.
thing. So far, what are the mistakes that you think that you've made?
Well, I think the biggest mistake, not just the actions I made. I honestly, I don't know how differently I could have done the actions. I really try to scrutinize like what I was doing. Maybe getting a better holster. That would be one for
Mm.
sure. That I would be something, a holster that you are familiar with. The one I used, it was my father's law enforcement one, so I was unprepared on that. Maybe a chest holster I'd probably move to next time. So that was definitely a learning moment right there. As it is for bear spray, I probably would have been bear sprayed and mauled at the same time, which would have double sucked. I
Mm.
don't think she would have stopped her charge.
Mm.
Honestly, she felt cornered and trapped at that time. Even though she disengaged from my father, when she came to me, like I said, it was like that's probably where she went in. She was probably trying to leave, and then saw me and was like, "Oh,
Yep.
this dude, screw you." And
Mm.
so that's when that all happened. So that's one thing I probably would change. The other one is making noise. That's, I mean, number one lesson that you make whenever you're in Alaska, you say you're hiking in high brush or anything like that, is make noise when you're out there.
Mm.
These animals, trust me, they don't want to see you either.
Mm.
Special as you think you are, they don't want to be around you. You got these stories of bears being predatorial, hunting you, you know, just that red eyes, always trying to fight. They're not doing that. Very, very, very small percentages
Mm.
attacks happen just like that. I mean, but those stick out. Timothy Treadwell. Everyone knows that. The grizzly guy, the guy that
Grizzly
called him
dude.
chocolate and tried to pet him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so don't do that.
Mm.
But yeah, those stick out. But these animals, they do not want to see you. So if you make enough noise, they'll leave. They will almost undoubtedly leave.
Mm.
They'll sense you before you sense them for the most part. They got unbelievable smells. I
Mm.
mean, they can smell, but that day, I think she was bedded down. Probably the cubs were around. I don't know if she was sleeping, but we didn't make enough noise above the ambient level to alert her of her presence, and also the wind. There was almost nothing. I mean, the gnats were in and around your face, so the wind didn't help at all.
Mm.
So making noise, I that's something I know that you need to do. Growing up, fish and wildlife, trail maintenance. I mean, that's just the life I lived. And I taught people. When I bring people out on quote unquote guided hikes, that's what I love to do. So I was like, hey, every 100 paces, make noise.
Mm.
But man, you know it when you're out there and you're walking, you forget sometimes.
Yep.
So you get into that meditative state and you forget what you're doing. You start thinking how beautiful it is. You forget to make noise. So that lesson, it was something that I was like, okay, how do I say this? That's something that I know, but how do I make it better? How do I learn from that and make it better so everybody else can learn from that also?
Mm.
And for the past year, I've been developing a device that I do exactly that,
Mm-hmm.
actually. So that's one of the points that I've fixated on, and I know that that could be a game changer. Um, because I know how it is when you're out in the woods. You you just even hikers or even hunters. I mean, sometimes you don't want to run into an animal, right? You're getting towards your your bait station or whatever. But yeah, I now I'm developing a device that uses frequencies to alert animals of your presence, essentially making your personal bubble larger.
Yep.
Because when you're walking out in the woods, your normal state of being, you're probably only making enough noise to propagate 20 feet or so, maybe 30,
Mm-hmm.
just your normal self being out there. And my device is going to propagate enough noise that you can't hear it because it utilizes ultrasonic frequencies. I put a patent out on it. Now I'm actually starting to get a snowball effect on it and getting this going so I can hopefully get it out to the public next year.
Yep.
That uses ultrasonic frequencies to alert animals of your presence so you don't hear it and then they can. So it doesn't take away from uh, being outdoors. You got some people that have speakers on their chest or bang pipes together. You don't want to hear that when you're out there.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I made this device that's going to be silent to us, and at the same time allow the animals the ability, the choice to leave the area before you get to a point of using your reactive tools that you have to use.
Yep.
Because then you surprise them. Because that's what it is. The biggest thing that I learned right there is surprising an animal, like get your ass bit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. And yeah, I went into a deep dive. That's something I fixated on, and being part, and now I'm kind of part of this very small world now that we start communicating with each other. Like they all got attacked by bears or some animal, and there's a through line. We all, for the most part, we all surprise an animal.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to prevent.
Yep.
That's what I learned is when you surprise an animal, they're going to react in very primitive. You're going to react in a primitive way. They're going to react in a primitive way.
Mm.
You know, so I'd rather that not happen
Mm.
and prevent these situations from happening. Prevent using any tool that you have. Again, another point is if you surprise an animal within 20 feet, doesn't matter if you have a pistol or not. A lot of these people have firearms or bear spray with them, but trust me, when shit hits the fan, you're not as quick as you think you are.
Mm.
And the only reason why I was just quick enough is because that bear charged my father first. And if she didn't charge my father first, I would have been the typical story of the guy had a gun on his holster in his holster right next to him.
Yep.
But he got his face ripped off by a bear anyways.
Yeah.
So to prevent that from happening in the first place, that's what I'm trying to do.
Mm. Yeah.
Sorry, I just kind of went down a rabbit trail.
No, that's good because I was actually going to ask you about that. So yeah, no, that's very cool. Yeah, I know there's a product over in Australia that uses ultrasonic sound that they mount on the front of vehicles to scare away animals off the road, because over here, particularly with kangaroos, the kangaroos in some areas are in plague proportion. I don't know what you've heard about kangaroos, but they are nowhere near being endangered. They are in plague proportions in some areas, and they like to hang around on the roads, particularly on the side of roads, because that's where there's a lot of green feed that happens. So yeah, there's a lot of vehicle strikes with kangaroos here. So yeah, I do know there's a couple of products out there that use sort of ultrasonic sound and noise being emitted from the front of the vehicle to try and scare them off the road. So guntraders.com.au is a family-run Australian business and probably the best place to connect with dealers, brands, clubs and service providers like my friends at Down Under Taxidermy. You'll also find licensed Australian shooters, hunters and outdoor enthusiasts on here looking to buy and sell everything to do with shooting and hunting. These guys have set up a modern, user-friendly online platform with reliable search filters, making finding what you need even easier. The server is hosted right here in Australia, so no information is stored offshore, meaning it's secure and trusted. Join the VIP member network and get exclusive offers and discounts. And while you're scrolling on YouTube, check out some of their antics at GTA in the Wild. guntraders.com.au. Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah, That's definitely a thing that they even have this here for deers too. I think they it uses like a whistle. It's not they mount it in the front of the car, and then the speed of the car, the air flows through it just like a dog whistle, like the old thing you see, like a tweeter thing.
Yep. Yep.
That's actually kind of how I came up with the idea a little bit, is because I have dogs that sometimes just get a little bit too barky, and for some reason just came to my mind, like, how do I make them stop? I looked it up. It's like, oh,
Mm.
there's ultrasonic things. I was like, wait a second, this is all starting to connect for me. And
Mm.
uh, well, the legwork was finding out how high bears can hear. What
Mm.
is their capability? What's their capacity?
Mm.
Well, I did research myself, boots on the ground, because shit, that's who I am. I literally was testing them bears on the wild when I was driving from Minnesota to Alaska last year, like getting out of the car, like, do you hear this? Oh, you do. Great. So yeah, I got great reactions out of them. It wasn't anything aggressive, which is something that I did not want to have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, they hear this, they get aggressive. That's great. Let's put it on your body. No, it was they alerted the animal. Oh, you know what? This is something I do want to say. When this device comes out, this device is like Bear Bells or anything like that. Uh, that device is not a repellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These devices, the preventative is going off of what I mentioned earlier, is they don't want to see your ugly mug either, right? If you make noise, they're going to leave.
Mm.
So do know you yourself, just being who you are, is a repellent. The device is meant to grab their awareness from I hope about 50 meters in the best case scenario. And looking at it, 50 meters, I believe, through thick brush and everything. If they can hear that, it's essentially like we're having a conversation right now, and a bird hit a window, or you hear a weird noise, and so you look over there, and then you see someone walking across the street. Like, oh, there's a guy with a dog over there.
Yep.
You didn't know that guy with the dog was over there, but you heard a noise and he looked over there.
Yep.
So that's essentially the whole premise of this device, is it's bringing up their awareness, making your personal bubble bigger, because they're going to see you and hear you before you see them. That's the case for the most part, but not all the time.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, that's the whole idea. You yourself is the repellent.
yeah, essentially
This is
it's
just going off their yeah.
yeah, essentially
Go
it's
ahead.
just going to be another tool in that whole toolkit to work alongside of all those other
Yes.
factors, those protective factors that you talked about, and
Yes.
yeah,
And actually make the other measures better
yep,
too.
yep,
Because if you have more, if that bear hears this, for the most, I would say they won't bed down and try to assassin creed you. They're not
mm,
going to be like, I'm going to wait for this guy to be here. They're going to announce that they're there.
yeah,
Okay.
yep,
They're going to chomp their teeth. They're going to pop their jaw. Um, I don't know about mountain lions. I'm going into more animals, because this isn't just for bears.
yep,
I want to get it for mountain lions, wolves, coyotes, maybe even boars. Boars is a huge deal here in Texas,
mm,
and bears. So these animals are going to warn you that they're there. So it
yep,
will give you time then to grab your bear spray, to grab your firecrackers, grab your pistol or whatever. It will help everything all
yep,
around.
yep,
That's yeah,
mm,
it's great.
yeah. No, that's very admirable, mate. That you've taken this experience and turned it around like that to do something that's going to help everybody else along, with your learnings as well.
Help my sons.
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I'm like thinking about my son. I'm like, man, I want you to go out there and not get your ass chewed on by a bear.
Yep.
Here, take this.
Mm.
Even your son or whoever's here.
Mm.
Just to prevent it that much. That's that's the goal behind it,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. Awesome. So you've mentioned videos.
Hmm.
People are obviously going to be curious after listening to this and will probably want to go and look at the videos. Whereabouts would they find them?
Well, YouTube has a few of them. I also have them on my Instagram. I actually have to pull up my handle here real quick. Yeah, of course I know that. Grizzly Life 907. Duh.
Yep.
Yeah, Grizzly Life 907 is where you can find A couple of those videos that I have.
Mm-hmm.
One of them I kind of made a little fun of. I don't know if you ever watched The Hangover,
Mm-hmm.
where Chow is like, "But did you die?" And he says, "I shot myself," and he says,
Yeah.
"But did you
Yeah.
die?" So I made a little video like that,
Yeah.
poking fun at it a little bit. But you can find, I think I made about a 4-minute video or 3-minute video of everything.
Mm.
The original videos are on YouTube though, where they're uncut, everything.
Yep.
If you go on to if you go into YouTube, just look up Tyler Johnson Bear,
Yep.
you're going to see a few of them up there. There's one that is 5 minutes long by Alaska News Source. I would recommend that one.
Okay.
Some of the other ones they do like cut-ins of like, this is brought to you by blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you don't want any of that, go to that one. Also, it has the most views. It has over 1 million or so views and stuff. So
Yep.
it's easy to find that one. You can pick it out. Like, okay, click on that one. You can watch it. You can see me go through everything, like literally showing the dead bear right next to me. Oh, I shot myself, and like panning over to my leg,
Mm.
going over to my other leg. At that time, I didn't know if she bit into me or I shot myself again. I mean, I didn't know until I got to the hospital and they're like, yeah, no, she ripped into you.
Mm.
Um, and then it goes into, me talking about how I'm keeping my heart rate down at that time, just so I don't lose more blood. Talking about how beautiful it is. I think I mentioned for the Lord of the Rings lovers, it felt like when Gimli got tackled by that warg, and then the warg died on top of him and fell on him.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of felt like that for a second. I made that reference there. Uh, and then you can hear my dad screaming in the background, yelling at the bears, "Get the f out of here!" And it's it's a whole scene to
Mm-hmm.
say the least. And you get a good picture of where I was at. When I pan around, you can see that I'm in a bowl, and there's a mountain over here, a mountain over there, and you can see the tall grass. And
Mm.
and bear in mind, when I made this video, I just shot myself and I got mauled by a bear. So if I
Mm.
make any descriptions that are off, like unsheathed my pistol, go fuck off, because guess what? I got attacked by a bear.
Mm.
Whatever.
Mm.
Like I said that. So it's a good 5-minute watch to say the least.
Yeah.
It's better
Yeah.
than scrolling through TikTok for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can attest that it's a very raw, yeah, experience. Yeah. That's probably
Hmm.
the best way that I can describe it. So to
It
handle
is.
that situation as well as you did, do you have law enforcement training or military background?
No, and yes. Not law enforcement or military, but I after high school I decided to go into forest firefighting pretty heavily,
Okay.
and I got into some hot shot crews.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Pioneer Peak, IHC. They were rated at the time one of the top 5 hotshot crews in the nation, coming out of and I mean not just coming out of Alaska. We were in Alaska, but we were top 5 hotshot crew in the nation, just with the qualifications. And the way that crew was ran and is still ran to this day is very militaristic. I was only one of two um, that were not military, ex-military.
Okay.
Um, on that crew. So you go through EMT training. That job is not easy, and it's awesome. It's
Just
not a family job,
just just
but it's a hell of a life.
just explain what a hotshot crew is for everyone that doesn't know, because we don't have anything
Okay,
like that over here.
you guys got a whole shit ton of fires though, don't you?
Yeah, but
What do you guys do with that?
yeah, I don't think they get dropped in the middle of a fire like you guys do.
No. So, what we have, there's different tiers. You got smoke jumpers, which are those guys jump out of airplanes
Hmm.
and parachute in. They're like the first responders when they see smoke and they can't get a crew ready right away. These guys are waiting by an airplane to just jump out of a plane. And those guys are, you know, the one the like when there's like 4 or 5 of them and they start scratching line, hopefully trying to put this thing out. Those guys. That's what I was working towards until I changed my career.
Hmm.
Hot Shot Crew is a team of firefighters, experienced firefighters, at the top of their game. These we go out there and we crush fires. I mean, we jump in, like go in front of the fire line, and scratch it out, chainsaw, um, trees on fire, throw fire. It's a hell of a job. It's great. It, it's it's a hell of a life, man. Yeah, we're the guys that run in when everyone's running out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the crews below that. Not, I wouldn't say below, but I mean less experienced, and that's Type 2 IA. Those are initial attack. Those guys go in for the initial attack, but that's a step below what a hot shot crew is. The word hot shot, and whenever I say that, people are like, "Oh yeah, you think you're a hot shot, huh?" Like, it has that little weird tang to it, but that's just what we're called. And yeah, I'm a fucking hot shot. So I go
Mm-hmm.
out, I go and run into the fire, man. It's a hell of a life. Um, I can't remember. I tried explaining to it like in the military terms, like if it's Green Beret, Navy SEALs, but I don't want to describe it any too wrong on this, but I think it's like we're the Green Berets that go in, like the team of guys that go in and do our job, and the smoke jumpers are like the Navy SEALs, the smaller crew that goes in.
Yeah.
I might get crucified for that one, but that's the best way I can describe it. Is that yeah, we're a group of 20 individuals, 21, and yeah, head out into the fire.
Mm.
It's great. It's a hell of a job, man.
Mm.
Sometimes I miss it, but I got 3 kids now,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's a little bit different.
So what are you doing now?
Well, as of right now, um, I am a senior project coordinator for telecommunications outfit in Alaska. Still, I'm working remotely.
Mm-hmm.
That position is probably going to be going away here in a bit. So I'm actually looking to attempt to find a job that I actually would like to do,
Yep.
which is kind of hard, but I'm just starting to search for it. Um, I don't know what that looks like. I want it to be something outdoors. I want it to be something that has to do with what I'm trying to do with. It's called sound barrier, the device that I'm making.
Mm.
Sound barrier,
Mm.
like a play on words. I'm also building that business too. So depending on how this device is built and how it's going, I might take that on full time. And because where I'm not just making this one device, I'm going to be doing all sorts of stuff with sound and helping out with the USDA. I'm getting a contract with them to help with agriculture and livestock protection
Mm-hmm.
using ultrasonic. So there's a bright future in the company for that. Um, but in the short term, I don't know. REI, if you're listening, hire me and take pictures of me when I go hiking. I don't know how that works out or whatever. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, yeah, I'm working at a telecommunication uh, at my desk.
Yeah.
I'm outdoorsman that sits at his desk.
Yeah.
It's agonizing sometimes.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Well, mate, I'm mindful of the time and how long we've been going and so forth, and you're a busy man, so all the best with the business uh, and any future recovery and so forth. There's physical recovery and mental recovery as well. I can't imagine how that this whole thing has affected you and your wife and your dad. So I hope it's all goes well in the future for you guys.
Yeah. Well, I think it's only if you want it to be a negative experience, you can make it a negative experience, and that's
Mm.
just not who I am. We were making the best of whatever happened.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a positive outlook on life. Yeah.
No,
So
none of you sound
and
like
yeah,
you're being a victim here. You definitely sound
no,
like you turned it on its ass and you're going on the offensive.
yeah, and yeah, that's the way I gotta live life, man. I don't want to be a victim. Sucks. Why
Mm,
would you want to do that?
mm,
Also, I mean, before we do get off though, um, if anyone is going to Alaska and does go on my Instagram and has any questions about hunting or fishing or anything like that, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have. I'm a born and raised on the Kenai Peninsula, man.
Yep.
Um, I just have joy in helping people find their peace and what they love doing in the wild. So if anyone has any questions, you're like, hey, I'm going to Alaska. Where's the best place to fish? What, what time? Because you don't go there in March. That would suck.
Yep.
Don't go there in October. It's cold, right? You got a very specific time. And also, one of these days I do want to go to Australia and check that out.
Yeah.
It's always been on top of my list to go.
Yep. Absolutely, mate. Well, I appreciate you saying that. I was going to sort of put that question to you afterwards as well about us staying in touch, because I definitely am keen to get over to Alaska and try and do what I can. I know it's a little more complicated being an alien non-resident than it is a non-resident, but it's certainly still possible for me. So appreciate you offering that.
Yeah, I mean, I know you were talking that you want to go Dall sheep hunting, and when it comes to hunting, it might be a little bit different experience. But like I said, this summer I'm testing it out, see if I really want to do this. I have a suspicion that I would love it. I'm going to love it. But just bringing men, women, whoever out to experience what it is like to be out in the wild. Also, I do have a mind of bringing fathers and their sons out together, because it's funny moving here to the city. I realized that there's not a lot of people that grew up like maybe me and you have, that have the opportunity to go out, and they don't have the opportunity to show their son, what it's like to actually be a man. So I'd love to be that conduit, say, hey, bring your son out with you. I want to do this with my sons, and I'll show you how to, live out there for a week. What what berries can you eat? What animals do you stay away from? How to make a fire, how to read a compass, or whatever. Just being that conduit, because I know men do want to do that, but they might not necessarily know who or how to at that time. And that's another avenue I'd love to adventure down, being that for somebody, like my father was for me. So.
Yeah, you're right. It's very easy for us to take our sons hunting and introduce them into the what we love doing, the recreation and so forth. But if we really want this whole thing to grow, the whole hunting, fraternity, to community to grow, take somebody else's son away, somebody who doesn't have a father that is already invested in this, and do exactly what you're doing. Teach them, either teach the son or teach them both, because that's how we grow this population.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I do, because I know the impact. I know the impact.
Yeah.
Just look at us, so go touch grass, guys. Leave the iPad behind. Go outside and make a mud pie, or take a magnifying glass to a anthill or something. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Awesome, Tyler, mate. Thank you so much for your time and for making this work. Really enjoyed the story, and like I said, definitely looking forward to staying in touch.
Absolutely. No, really. Any questions about Alaska? If you're going up there, let me know. Trust me, if I'm going to Australia, I'll be hitting you up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, definitely. We'll make something work.
Awesome. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate this.
Hey, team. Thank you for listening in. If you'd like to contact me for a chat, pass on any feedback, or have some ideas for future podcasts, please reach out to me on Instagram at Australian_hunting_backcountry, or email me australian.hunting.backcountry@outlook.com.au. Thank you, and please remember, look after yourselves and your mates.